In the 6th grade of elementary school, we had a teacher, Miss Cotter, who was about 21 years old, fresh out of college, and our class was her first class. Well, she had a little reading session every day to us. And the first thing she read was extreme of interest to me, but she came out from behind her desk and asked the young lady sitting in the first desk to move to the one behind her, which was empty. And she climbed up on top of the desk seat, stood up, and then sat down on the desktop, crossing her legs, showing just exactly the right amount of thigh. Which instantly interested me. Instead of drawing airplanes and such, I was busy watching her. Well, she started reading a story that kind of, in a lot of ways, shaped my life, because it got me interested in sailing, and the adventure of sailing, and maybe the dangers of unknown horrors at sea. And so anyway, I was going to talk about something else, but I think I'll change my tune and read a little bit out of The Ancient Mariner. Let me get my booklet. All right. Eftsoons his hand dropped he, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. The wedding guest is spellbound by the eye of the seafaring man and constrained to hear his tale in 7 parts. He holds him with his glittering eye. The wedding guest stood still and listened like 3 years child. The mariner hath his will. The wedding guest sat on a stone. He cannot choose but hear. And thus spake the ancient mariner man, the bright-eyed mariner. The ship was cheered, the harbor cleared. Merrily did we drop below the kirk, below the hill, below the lighthouse top. The mariner tells how the ship sailed southward with goodwill, fair weather, till it reached the line. The sun came up upon the left, out of the sea came he, and he shone bright on the right, went down into the sea, higher and higher every day. Till over the mast at noon, the wedding guest beat his breast, for he had heard in loud bassoon. The ancient mariner meeteth 3 gallants, bidden to a wedding feast, detaineth one. The wedding guest heareth the bridal music, but the mariner continueth his tale. It is an ancient mariner, and he stopped one of 3. But the long beard and glittering eye, now wherefore stoppeth thou me? The bride hath paced into the hall, red as a rose is she. The bridegroom doors are open wide, and I am next of kin. The guests are met, the feast is set, mayest hear the merry din. The wedding guest he beat his breast, yet he cannot choose but hear. And this spake on the ancient mariner, the bright-eyed mariner. He holds him with his skinny hand. There was a ship, quoth he. Hold off, unhand me, old gray-bearded loon. The ship driven by a storm toward the South Pole, and now the storm blast came, and he was turnus and strong. he struck with his overtaking wings and chased his south along. A note from the writer. I can easily believe that there are more invisible than the visible beings in the universe. But who shall describe for us their families, their ranks, their relationship, their distinguishing features and functions? What they do, where they live, the human mind has always circled around in knowledge of these things, never attaining it. I do not doubt, however, that it is sometimes beneficial to contemplate the thought as in a picture, with sloping masts and dipping brow, as we pursued with yell and blow, still pursued the shadow of his foe, and forward bends his head. The ship drove fast, loud roared the blast. The southward, aye, we fled. Part 2. The sun rose upon the right. Out of the sea came he, still hid in mist, and on the left went down into the sea. The good south wind still blew behind, but no sweet bird did follow, nor any day for food or play came the mariner's hollow. And I had done a hellish thing, and I would work 'em woe, for all averred I had killed the bird that made the breeze to follow. Ah, wretch, said they, the bird to slay that made the breeze to blow. Nor dim nor red, like God's own head, the glorious sun uprist. Then all averred I had killed the bird that brought the fog and mist. 'Twas right, said they, such birds to slay, that bring the fog and mist. The fair breeze blew, the white foam flew, the furrow followed free. We were the first that ever burst into the silent sea. Down dropped the breeze, the sails dropped down. 'Twas sad as sad could be, and we did speak only to the break, the silence of the sea. All in a hot and copper sky, the bloody sun at noon. Right up above the mast did stand no bigger than the moon. Day after day after day, we stuck nor breath nor motion, as idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. Water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. O Christ, that ever this should be. Yea, slimy things that did crawl with legs upon the slimy sea. About, a reel and rout, the death fires danced at night, the water like witches' oils, burnt green and blue and white. And some in dreams assured whereof the spirit that plagued us so, 9 fathom deep he had followed us from the land of mist and snow. And every tongue, though utter drought, was withered at the root. We could not speak, nor more than if we had choked with soot. Well, all day I had what evil looks had I from old and young. Instead of the cross, the albatross about my neck was hung. Okay, I have read 2 parts of a 7-part Ancient Mariner. It was my Star Wars or Star Trek that my kids were so enamored with. It was the great adventure, and it gave me an appreciation for what the killing of an albatross might mean. Much like the changing the colors of the dolphin. You know, it's a thing to look at, see, and feel sorry for what you've done, maybe. I think it's a growing up story for a young boy. And a story for an old man to look back on. Or anywhere in between that. So anyway, I'm going to try to read 2 chapters a week and post it until I get through the 7 chapters. I hope everybody will enjoy it as much as I enjoyed it the first time I heard the story. Okay, I'll see y'all probably next week. Bye-bye.